Welcome to the 2023 Summer-Autumn edition of Stroke Recovery News, a publication by the Stroke Recovery Association. Contents include Stroke in Australia, long-term survivors have fallen into a black hole, pages 1 and 2. New tools to tackle debilitating post-stroke fatigue, page 3. Scams and identity theft, pages 4 and 5. Cost of living support, page 5. eBility, the accessible marketplace, page 6. The Pool, short film, page 7. Life membership, page 7. 2022 in photos, pages 8 and 9. President's highlights, pages 10 to 13. And financial report, pages 14 to 15.
Our lead article today is Stroke in Australia, long-term survivors have fallen into a black hole, written by Kate Scribner, Catherine Dean, Ian D. Cameron and Louise Ada. People with long-term disability after stroke should have access to the services they need when they require them. Over recent years, the management of stroke has undergone major changes in Australia, including the introduction of stroke-equipped ambulances, improved delivery of thrombolysis, and the formation of acute stroke units. However, despite more people surviving, many people after stroke are left with lifelong disability. Furthermore, ongoing services and support are perceived to be inadequate by people after stroke. This means that people living with ongoing disability after stroke may not have the opportunity to achieve their preferred life goals. It is time to focus on the individual burden of disease and how we can best support people with stroke in the long term. Stroke is a chronic, lifelong health condition, but it is managed like an acute condition in Australia. Typically, a person after stroke is admitted to an acute hospital for early management. They then receive inpatient rehabilitation if they meet the selection criteria, followed by outpatient rehabilitation. In reality, the amount of rehabilitation provided by the hospital sector is limited. Recent moves towards early discharge and rehabilitation in the home have been shown to be less effective in maximising function than inpatient rehabilitation. Whereas functional gain is possible when investment in subacute and community rehabilitation, for example, Council of Australian Government National Partnership Agreement, after hospitalisation, 64% of strokes are referred for a community rehabilitation. However, the actual amount of community rehabilitation that occurs is profoundly low. People after stroke are caught between the health, disability and ageing sectors. In the health sector, resources are prioritised in the acute phase of care, and once in the community, funding is via the general practitioner. Chronic disease management plan that is limited to 5 annual subsidised allied health sessions. Furthermore, it is hard for people after stroke to access funding from the disability sector. People after stroke report feeling forgotten and neglected once their allotted rehabilitation quota has finished. Stroke costs the Australian health and disability sectors an estimated $1.3 billion in 2020. Having a disjointed and inequitable system cannot ensure value for money. One of the costs is the National Disability Insurance Scheme, Australia's disability funding model. In 2020, the NDIS supported 5,160 people who nominated stroke as their primary disability, approximately 1% of people after stroke living in Australia at that time. The NDIS does not readily accept people after stroke for 2 reasons. First, you must be aged 65 years or younger when you acquire your disability. In Australia, 61% of people who had a stroke in 2020 were aged over 65 years. Second, the disability must have a permanent and significant impact on function or participation in life roles. And that you can find the details of at www.ndis.gov.au. APP.am/APP/am/I-C-E-double-S/NDIS /AMSLAsh-A-double-C-E-double-S/I-M/I-DASH-E-L-I-G-I-B-L-E. It can be incorrectly assumed that people after stroke recover and therefore will not have ongoing disability, especially people with initial mild to moderate symptoms. While people typically have some recovery after stroke, it is usually partial and plateaus after the first 6 months. A significant proportion of people who also deteriorate over time, creating greater levels of disability. If not eligible for the NDIS, people after stroke may need to wait until they are eligible for aged care services, which are currently not only inadequate, but do not optimise participation and quality of life. Other chronic health conditions, such as heart disease, receive ongoing support aimed at preventing recurrence. After stroke, exercise and the promotion of physical activity as a secondary prevention strategies are also important, but rarely accessible. Further participation in such programs can be limited by the complexity and severity of post-stroke impairments, such as muscle weakness and cognitive and language deficits. It is time for people with long-term disability after stroke to have access to the services they need when they require them. We suggest a new model of long-term support for people after stroke who experience ongoing disability. The cornerstone of the model is a deliberate move to the disability sector from the health sector. This article is a call for people with ongoing disability after stroke to be able to access ongoing services regardless of age or disability. The current system is disjointed with multiple funding sources leading to inequality in who receives which services and when. People after stroke need the ability to have regular ongoing checkups with services implemented where required. More support for ongoing lifestyle changes such as text reminders, person-centred tools such as self-management, habit-forming exercise, ongoing gym memberships, and strategies for meaningful social interactions. These issues are applicable not only for people after stroke, but also for many others with ongoing disability. We support the urgency for a national rehabilitation strategy to move the rehabilitation focus from the hospital to the community. In addition to the article, there are a number of references listed below. If you'd like to understand or you can't read any of those references, please give the association a ring on 1300 650 0594 and we will give you a list of those references.
Page 3. New tool to tackle debilitating post-stroke fatigue. Newcastle researchers are one step closer to developing a new tool to help tens of thousands of survivors of stroke who experience the debilitating impacts of post-stroke fatigue. The team, led by Dr. Dawn Simpson, will work with stroke survivors, their caregivers, and health professionals to co-design the tool that translates concepts from effective persistent pain education into post-stroke fatigue. 3 of the research team are stroke survivors with lived experience of post-stroke fatigue. The Protectometer is an educational package of resources that will assist survivors and health professionals to identify tasks or situations that exacerbate their fatigue and then supports problem solving through the development of personal strategies to improve recovery and quality of life. The research project is one of 5 that have been announced as part of the 2023 Stroke Foundation research grants. Dr. Dawn Simpson from the University of Newcastle and Hunter Medical Research Institute says the funding will be critical to co-designing the tool, which will assist to reduce the impact of fatigue on stroke survivors and their families. Post-stroke fatigue is life-altering. Survivors I've been working with have described it as a complete turn of a switch where they just have to stop what they're doing and can't continue. They feel physically and emotionally wiped out and cannot concentrate or continue to function. Fatigue affects more than half of stroke survivors, but Dr. Simpson says there is a gap in current stroke practices, with survivors telling her they receive limited information about fatigue from health professionals. Fatigue management is not a one-size-fits-all approach. This tool will give survivors of stroke a better understanding of their fatigue and, by working closely with their health practitioner, will provide a tailored approach to fatigue management. As a result, we expect the patient to have greater participation, confidence, and quality of life, Dr. Simpson said. The study will happen in 2 stages, and the team will be recruiting stroke survivors, their caregivers, and a range of health professionals at each stage. The first stage will involve online workshops to allow participants to provide input into and feedback about the tool. The second stage will test how effective the tool is and get further information about how user-friendly it is in clinical practice. The study will be advertised on the Hunter Medical Research Institute website and publicised on social media, hopefully in mid-March. This article is by Dr. Dawn Simpson, lecturer in physiotherapy, College of Health, Medicine and Wellbeing, School of Health Sciences, Newcastle University. You can watch Dr. Dawn Simpson's presentation, Living with Fatigue After Stroke, which she presented at the 2022 Creating Connections Stroke Conference, by visiting the link in the article or scanning the QR code on this page.
Scams and identity theft, page 4. The number of people losing money as a result of scammers is on the increase. In Australia, it is important to be vigilant and to ensure you protect yourself as much as possible. Scammers are now operating through telephone, texting, emails, and all forms of social media. They are becoming very sophisticated and are now impersonating banks, government agencies, your family members, and even police. Common scams in 2023. In the latest scams to be aware of, there are several tricks being used by fraudsters to steal your money and personal information. These include 1. The Hi Mum scam. This is when you may receive a text or a WhatsApp from an unknown number pretending to be your child or grandchild. They will ask you for money to replace their phone. Do not send any funds, but call your family member directly to verify the message. 2. The suspicious transactions scam. Fraudsters may call you and pretend to be from your bank. They will claim that there has been a suspicious transaction on your account and ask you to confirm your personal details. To protect yourself, it is important to hang up and call your bank directly using their official number to verify the status of your account. 3. The toll road scam, where you may receive a text message from what appears to be a toll company requesting payment for an unpaid toll. However, it is important to note these toll companies will never contact you directly for payment or ask for personal details. Instead, these notices will always come in the mail. 4. The online job scam. This scam usually occurs through social media or WhatsApp. Scammers may pose as recruitment officers, offering a promising job opportunity. They will often ask you to create a cryptocurrency wallet and deposit money into it as a way to secure the job. But this is a red flag to watch out for. Scams work by deception. Scammers often pretend to be from trusted organisations, including from us. They may pretend to be from any of the following: MyGov, Services Australia, Centrelink, Medicare, Child Support, or other government agencies like the Australian Tax Office or ATO. Scammers may want your personal information, including your Centrelink Customer Reference Number or CRN, name, address, date of birth, MyGov sign-in details, bank details, passwords, identity details such as your Medicare card details, credit card details. Scams and identity theft continued, page 5. They may also tell you to pay fees or transfer money to get a payment or benefit or repay a debt,
Upload copies of your identity documents. Buy gift cards or vouchers, such as an iTunes gift card, or give them remote access to your computer. Additional resources from Services Australia. How to spot if it's a scam at www.servicesaustralia.gov.au/how-to-no-if-it's-scam. 2. How to protect against scams at www.servicesaustralia.gov.au/how-to-protect-against-scams. 3. If you think that your identity has been stolen, call ID Care on 1800 595 170. And if you are worried about a scam, you can call the Scams and Identity Theft Help Desk on 1800 941 126 or email reportuscam@servicesaustralia.gov.au for information, help, and advice. Remember, do not give out your personal information to anyone. Always call the organisation involved directly and ask if they have attempted to contact you.
Cost of living support, energy rebate and finding unclaimed money in New South Wales. The New South Wales government is helping reduce the cost of living with more than 70 rebates and vouchers. To find out what you may be eligible for, go to the Service New South Wales website www.service.nsw.gov.au and complete a very simple questionnaire, and a list of rebates suitable for you will be displayed. What rebates are available in New South Wales? New South Wales Family Energy Rebate, Low Income Household Rebate, New South Wales Gas Rebate, Life Support Rebate, Medical Energy Rebate, Senior Energy Rebate. How to search for unclaimed money in New South Wales? Sometimes you don't receive money owed to you because you have moved address, changed your name, lost the paperwork, or forgotten about it. It is our job to make this information available so the money can be found and given to the right person. To find out more information and see if you may be eligible, contact Revenue New South Wales on their website
www.revenue.nsw.gov.au/unclaimed-money. Page 6. eAbility, the accessible marketplace. About eAbility. eAbility is a one-stop accessible marketplace for all disability equipment and products. Established in 1998, eAbility is owned by Ideas, the knowledge experts in fact-checked verified disability information and connection. What is Ideas? Ideas stands for Information on Disability Education and Awareness Services. They are a not-for-profit organisation that specialises in disability information. eAbility's purpose is 1. To make it easier and quicker for people with disability to find relevant new and used products in an accessible format so you can power up your life. 2. To offer value by connecting sellers and buyers and free access for those wishing to donate items to new homes and users. 3. To support and promote web accessibility with tips, tricks, and hacks written by subject experts. How do I post an ad to sell my used disability equipment and products? 1. Visit https://ebility.com.au/en/. 2. Click on the Post an Ad button at the top of their homepage on the website. You will need to create an account and sign in before posting an ad. 3. Once you are signed in, click the Post an Ad button found on the main menu and fill out the form. 4. Watch the short tutorial video that they have created that takes you through the simple listing process. The link to that video is https://youtu.be/be/be/. V3L2BGO0Q8K. How much does it cost to list an item on eBility? For more details on the pricing of selling on eBility, visit https://ebility.com.au/en/pricing.html. The prices below are GST inclusive and apply to private and individual sellers for one item per listing. Selling your item for under $550, free to list the item. Selling your item for $150 to $1,499, $14.95 to list the item. Selling your item for $1,500 to $3,000, it's $24.95 to list the item. Selling the item for over $3,000 is $29.95 to list the item. Selling an accessible vehicle is $74.95 to list the item. And selling a modified property is $149 to list the item. How do I contact an advertiser? In some instances, advertisers will post their phone number or email address in the contact field. To view these details, you will need to be logged into the site, otherwise you can use the contact form on the right-hand side of the ad. How do I get an item that I would like to purchase? You must contact the advertiser to arrange to pick up or drop off any advertised equipment. eBility is a classified site only and does not handle the exchange of items or delivery.
The Pool short film premiere, page 7. The association recently partnered with young film writer and director Erica Long from Waiting Room Productions and her army of volunteers to make a short film on recovery from stroke. The Pool, which premiered in November 2022 at the Palace Cinema in Darlinghurst, is intended to raise community awareness of stroke and stroke rehabilitation through visual storytelling. The story is told from the perspective of a suburban pool, as it reminisces about its life and those of the humans who are part of that life over many years. The film centres around the lives of Ari and Connell and the tragedies that occurred in their lives and how that was influenced and witnessed by the pool. The writer was inspired by her personal experience with her partner's dad, a stroke survivor, and stepmother, a carer, and the film captures the devotion and connection between the carer family and stroke survivor. The Pool also depicts various forms of rehabilitation exercises that stroke survivors undertake and the important role of their carers to assist in the rehabilitation journey. The filmmaker worked with therapists at Mount Wilga Rehabilitation Hospital, Sydney, to ensure that stroke rehabilitation was accurately portrayed. The end of the film includes facts about strokes. The filmmaker intended to enter the pool in film festivals across the world to raise awareness of stroke. Once the film is available for general viewing, the association will be showing the film at a future Creating Connections Stroke conference. The picture shows the premiere poster for the pool, along with Michelle Sharkey from the association and other members attending the launch.
Life membership awarded. Ray and Judith Thornley from the Hornsby Ku-ring-gai Stroke Recovery Club were awarded a life membership from the Stroke Recovery Association New South Wales at the 2022 annual general meeting. Judith and Ray Thornley joined the Stroke Recovery Association after Ray's stroke in 2009. Since this time, they have been involved in the Hornsby Ku-ring-gai Stroke Recovery Club, were founding members of Aphasia New South Wales, and have been active members of the Hunter Stroke Olympics Committee. Judith has also been a member of the board of the association since 2015 and is the current Vice President and Secretary of the Stroke Recovery Association. Judith, with Ray's constant support, is the President and Coordinator of the Hornsby Ku-ring-gai Stroke Recovery Club and is responsible for the organisation of all the events, meetings and outings. Judith and Ray are passionate about members attending events held by the association, as it enables members to connect with other stroke survivors, carers and families within the stroke community. Since Ray's stroke in 2009, Ray and Judith have dedicated their lives to the improvement of services for stroke survivors, not only at the local level, but also at the state and national levels.
Page 8, 2022 in pictures. Here we have some lovely photos from our Building Capacity Training Conference, which was held in May 2022. We also have some photos from the Sydney Stroke Olympics, which was held at Club Burwood, RSL. On the left-hand side of the page, we have a photo from the Creating Connections Stroke Conference, which was held at Club Burwood. And on the right-hand side, we have a photo from the New South Wales Stroke Awareness Week launch in 2022. Over onto page 9, we have some more pictures. First ones are of the Combined Club's morning tea, which was held at Mingara Recreation Centre in Tumbi Umbi. Our Combined Club's picnic. Hunter Stroke Olympics. And the Christmas celebration for our online stroke support groups.
Page 10, President's Highlights by Mr. John Garbutt. To begin, I will congratulate the staff, our wonderful Stroke Recovery Club, group, choir, volunteers, and my fellow board members for their initiative and ongoing commitment to the association over the past year. It has taken an enormous amount of energy to maintain our services with the ups and downs of the ongoing health crisis, which appears to be here to stay with us for the foreseeable future. The latter part of 2021 was again plagued with lockdowns and cancellations of events. Stroke recovery clubs, groups and choirs were just starting to rejuvenate prior to the second major lockdown, which occurred from July to November, when COVID-19 raised its ugly head yet again. The usual events of the association and the activities of our stroke recovery clubs, groups and choirs were once again cancelled. While the organised events scheduled for the latter half of 2021 were cancelled, we were able to host the Creating Connections Stroke Conference entirely online in September 2021. 2022 began with great optimism. We were notified that the funding received from the New South Wales Government Department of Community and Justice would not only be restored, but doubled to $150,000 per annum, a great achievement for Michelle and the team. The first half of 2022 saw everything reopening and as back to normal as possible, with the association holding events including the 45th anniversary cocktail party, the Building Capacity Stroke Conference, and the Sydney Stroke Olympic Games Day. The association's services in review. I know I begin with this every year, but never has this been more apt than the past 12 months. The staff have exceeded expectations through the challenges of COVID-19 to ensure the services of the association remain relevant for members. The performance of the association continues to be a source of pride for all involved. The association's statistics indicate that the services and programs are performing well, and there has also been an enormous shift and expansion in our online and live streaming capabilities, expanding our services to rural and remote areas of the state and allowing more members than ever to access association events. Support and information. The information, counselling and support telephone line continues to be the frontline connection for those seeking the support of the Stroke Recovery Association. Survivors and carers regularly contact the association for information and are more often than not linked to a whole network of support through our Stroke Recovery Club, group and choir communities. The statistics on pages 14 and 15 We'll give you an idea of the number of telephone calls taken by staff each year. A friendly voice on the end of the telephone is often the first point of contact for new members and anyone wanting to connect or learn more about stroke. Page 11, President's Highlights 2022 continued. Staff continue to respond to feedback on the website. In addition to the new look, we have now uploaded all our stroke information sheets in a format that can utilise the text-to-speech function and be translated into over 10 different languages. We are still finessing the members-only section of the website, which enables members to access all the guest presentations from our conferences and Topical Thursday guest speaker recordings. Support of stroke recovery clubs, groups and choirs. This is the area of the association's objectives, which has seen the greatest change over the past 12 months. The Stroke Connectivity Project has continued during 2022. The Stroke Project Officer has completed the first round of training to all clubs, groups and choirs, with all clubs, groups and choirs having either already undertaken the training or having their training sessions scheduled for the remaining half of 2022. As COVID-19 caused an enormous interruption to the implementation of this project, we are confident that this funding will be continued for a further 2-year period, concluding in June 2024. The continuation of this project will enable the Stroke Project Officer to revisit the clubs, groups and choirs and provide further training to develop members' skills and confidence in accessing and utilising technology and online platforms even further. The funding that the association receives from the Department of Communities and Justice is now solid until June 2024. As a result, we have employed the Community Liaison Officer, whose role involves forging closer ties with our health and disability colleagues and working with member clubs, groups and choirs to expand and strengthen the stroke support network in the community. The 2021 October Club video conferences were able to proceed using the online meeting platform Zoom. It is amazing to see how members have embraced the new technology so readily. Who would have thought prior to COVID-19 that we would all become so comfortable with using technology to communicate? The Building Capacity Training Conference was held in May 2022 and incorporated a 45th anniversary cocktail party for the association. 80% of our stroke recovery clubs, groups and choirs were represented at the 2-day conference. It was again successfully live streamed to all our members who were unable to attend in person. Following the feedback received by members at the Building Capacity and October video conferences, the Stroke Project Officer and Community Liaison Officer have initiated monthly online governance training for stroke recovery club, group and choir executives. Page 12, President's Highlights 2022 continued. The online stroke support groups have continued to expand, with many stroke recovery clubs, groups and choirs experimenting with opening their groups to both online and face-to-face attendees. Online groups which continue to be successful and popular with our members are the Gardening Club, Sips and Nibbles Working Age Group, the Topical Thursday Guest Speaker and Trivia Tuesday. The staff work closely with many of our lovely volunteers to enable them to use their skills to facilitate the online groups. These groups are now entrenched as part of the services of the association and have forged many a friendship between members located far and wide. Stroke awareness and education. Stroke awareness and education is an area that has been greatly reduced due to the impact of the lockdowns this year. Most clubs, groups and choirs were unable to participate in New South Wales Stroke Awareness Week 2021 due to the second COVID-19 lockdown. The annual New South Wales Stroke Awareness Week launch and the Stroke Choir recital were both cancelled. Community talks and education opportunities have also been very much reduced. Advocacy. The Chief Executive Officer continues to be very active in advocating for services through all levels of government. All of these have continued to meet during 2021 and 2022 using online platforms. Areas where the association has had significant input has been through the Agency for Clinical Innovation, ACI, Stroke Network, and Ability Transport Access Committee, ATAC, through New South Wales Transport in the rollout of the new fleets and other related transport. This is a vital aspect of the association's mandate. We will continue to be involved with New South Wales Health and Transport New South Wales with the provision of consumer representatives. As your President, I will continue to provide a vital voice within Health Consumers New South Wales, serving as their chairperson again in 2021 and 2022. Moving forward, one major achievement over the past year has been the continuation of funding for the development of the stroke recovery clubs, groups and choirs through the Department of Communities and Justice. Not only was the funding reinstated, the amount received annually has doubled. This, along with the expected continuation of the Stroke Connectivity Project, funded through the Information and Linkages and Capacity Program, will mean that the association has 3 secure sources of funding until June 2024. It is anticipated that these increased resources will have a flow-on effect to support the development of both the association's face-to-face clubs, groups and choirs, and also our online presence. Advocacy remains a key strategy of the association. We are committed, along with our partner organisation, the Physical Disability Council of New South Wales, PCDM, who have been funded to coordinate the Disability Advocacy Network, to ensuring that the needs of people with disability are at the forefront of decision-making in 2023. Page 13, President's Highlights 2022 continued. Members can be assured that your staff and Board of Management will continue working with stroke survivors and their carers to ensure that the interests and the voice of stroke survivors will be heard within the decision-making processes of New South Wales, whether that be directly through the work of our CEO or through our connection with key strategic partners, PDCM and Health Consumers New South Wales. The use of technology is now an essential tool to deliver some of the association's services. The online stroke support groups are now embedded in the yearly program for staff. It is imperative that these continue, as they have ensured that members, wherever you are located, can still enjoy more access to the services and events made available by the association. The ongoing success of the association's education conferences will ensure that they are part of our support to members in 2023. The capacity to live stream to those unable to attend events face-to-face will also continue to grow in popularity as members become more familiar and comfortable using online platforms. Members can be assured that the Board will continue to evaluate the programs of the association and ensure that they evolve to meet the changing needs of our members and the stroke community. The association will also continue to work on our governance procedures to ensure compliance with all relevant authorities. As we move into 2022-2023, we can look back on the past 12 months yet again with enormous pride in the achievements of this association during another very difficult year of lockdown, club, group, choir closures, and event cancellations. The association has risen to the challenge of the ever-changing and trying conditions of COVID-19, and we have also found new and improved ways to engage with and provide services to our members. Thank you. I always conclude my report by acknowledging the individuals and organisations who have contributed to the success of the association over the past 12 months. That contribution might be through volunteering their skills to a club, group, or choir, or as a member of staff, led by our CEO, Michelle Sharkey, who celebrates 25 years with the association in 2022. We are a very solid and strong organisation, led and directed very capably by my fellow board members who contribute their time freely. This past 12 months has seen a significant change of board membership. However, I am sure you agree that the quality of the support provided through the association is first class and continues to develop under the stewardship of the board and the very capable staff. I thank you all for your contribution to the work of the Association and look forward to a very successful year ahead. John Garbutt, President.
Page 14, the Stroke Recovery Association Financial Report. At the conclusion of the 2021 and 2022 financial year, the Association is in its best financial position it has ever been in as a result of further bequests and increased government grant monies. The financial overview on the following page gives you a compact picture of how monies have been received and expended over the past year and a comparison with the previous financial year. The income and expenditure report indicates that there has been a decrease in monies received from most areas over the past year, an indication of how we have been impacted by COVID-19. The Association received $249,088 in bequests in the past financial year, an enormous increase over that received in the previous financial year. Due to the current low interest rates in 2021 and 2022 period, our investment returns have decreased in relation to previous years. It is anticipated that this performance will improve in the next financial year. The overall annual expenditure in 2021-2022 has again increased due to higher staffing levels. Staff have worked diligently to source alternate sources of funding, and this is reflected in the extension of grants received from New South Wales Health, New South Wales Department of Communities and Justice, and a further grant from NDIS ILC program for the 2022 to 2024 period. Our funding agreement with New South Wales Health is secured until June 2023. We were also successful in a tender submitted to the Department of Community and Justice under the Disability Advocacy Futures Program, brackets DAFP, close brackets. This replaced and doubled the grant monies we were receiving from them previously under the Transitional Advocacy Futures Programs, open brackets, TAFP, close brackets. This funding is a guaranteed annual amount of $150,000 secure until June 30, 2024. A further 2-year extension of the NDIS grant to roll out the stroke connectivity training project to members at the stroke recovery clubs and groups was also granted in early July 2022. And this funding is now also secure until the 30th of June 2024. This means the Association now receives core government funding of approximately $497,000. This increase is being utilised to increase the staffing level at the Association in order to provide more support services to members, particularly those who attend the stroke recovery clubs, groups and choirs. Staff have again been successful in working with clubs, groups and choirs to source money from club grants programs. The Association is also very appreciative of the bequests that were received from the estates of Anne Wetton, Shanae Youssef and Jane Frolick. The combined amount received from these 3 estates was just under $250,000, a major boost to our retained earnings. The amounts noted in the auditor's report for clubs, groups and choirs is the overall revenue received by all the clubs, groups and choirs of $71,784 and their overall expenses of $60,876 for the 2021-2022 financial year. These figures continue to be incorporated into our audited statement as required by the Australian Not-for-Profit and Charities Commission. However, they no longer greatly impact on the Association's bottom line figure as they did last year when they were first included. As we move into 2022 and 2023 financial year, we're in a very strong and viable financial position with a total cash reserve of $1,689,629. an increase of $178,291, or 12% on last year's financial position. Our retained revenue will be managed carefully to enable the association to continue to grow and move forward. Some of this cash reserve has been used to employ administrative staff to support the association's office. This is an expense we will continue to incur in future years. The board is acutely aware of the ever-increasing legislative burden on the association and our clubs, groups and choirs, particularly for volunteers. It is imperative that the board monitors the spending and monies diligently to ensure that our legal obligations are fulfilled. It is vital that we maintain our status as a charity and strictly comply with the new processes of the Australian Not-for-Profit and Charities Commission. Financial diligence remains a primary concern of the board. The board will acknowledge extra work undertaken by the financial manager, Cheryl Smith, and the treasurers of the clubs and choirs who have worked diligently to ensure we comply with the requirements of the Australian Not-for-Profit Charities Commission. The staff and board express our appreciation for the outstanding work of our Honorary Auditor, Vishal Modi from Nexia. A copy of the Independent Auditor's Report is included on page 21 of our annual report. A copy of the annual report is available to any member who would like to ring the association on 1300 650 594 and request a copy.
Financial position, page 15. This financial year, 2021-2022, there are two graphs in this section. The first graph details the income from 2021 and 2022. Subsidies and grants represent 56% of the graph. Donations and bequests represent 33%. Clubs and choirs, 9%. Interest, 1%. Memberships, 1%. And other income, 0%. The second graph details the expenses for 2021-2022. Employee costs represent 63% of expenditure. Operational represents 17%, clubs and choirs 10%, and programs 10%. The net position for the 2021-2022 financial year was positive $152,829. The second portion of the page shows the last financial year, 2020-2021. There are again two graphs in this section. The first graph represents the income for 2020-2021. Subsidies and grants make up 55% of the graph. Club contributions and income, 26%. Government stimulus, 11%. Donations and bequests, 4%. Interest, 1%. Memberships, 1%, and other income, 2%. The second graph shows the expenses for 2020-2021. Employee costs represent 58% of expenditure. Operational, 20%. Clubs and groups, 13%. And programs, 9%. The net position for the 2020-2021 financial year was positive $250,076.
Page 16. Stroke Recovery Association New South Wales. Contact us. Phone 1300 650 594. Email info@strokensw.org.au. Postal address PO Box 3401 Putney, New South Wales 2112. Visit our Facebook page, Stroke Recovery Association, our website, www.strokensw.org.au, our Instagram @StrokeNSW, or our Twitter @StrokeNSW. Update your preferences. Did you know that you can receive your newsletter by email? By switching your preference to email, you can access our newsletters instantly from your computer, tablet, or smartphone. By switching to email, you're assisting in reducing our environmental impact and our costs associated with producing these publications. If you would like to change your mailing preference, please contact the Association on 1300 650 594 or by email to admin@strokensw.org.au. Memorial donations. The passing of a family member, friend, or loved one is a very sad and stressful time. Sometimes symbolic gestures and actions provide great comfort to those who are grieving. It is with gratitude that the Stroke Recovery Association receives donations in memoriam. These donations, which assist us to continue our valuable work, are a wonderful remembrance of the person who has passed away. All donations received by the Association are tax deductible and can be forwarded to our postal address above. Acknowledgement will be sent to the family of the deceased. The Association is happy to provide memorial donation pamphlets, which can be made available at a funeral service with prepaid addressed envelopes. Thank you for your support. Disclaimer and copyright. The views expressed in Stroke Recovery News are not necessarily those of the Stroke Recovery Association nor its board. No liability or responsibility is accepted by the publisher for any consequences resulting from any action taken based on information or advertisements included herein. All care is taken to ensure the accuracy of its contents, but this cannot be guaranteed and should not be relied upon. The publisher of Stroke Recovery News is the Stroke Recovery Association of New South Wales. No part of this publication may be reproduced, either in print or any other media, including the internet, without the written authorisation of the Executive Officer of the Stroke Recovery Association. Permission should be sought by writing to PO Box 3401 Putney, New South Wales 2112 or info@strokensw.org.au. Board of the Association. President, John Garbutt. Vice President, Judith Thornley. Secretary, Judith Thornley. Treasurer, Karen Felton. Directors, Jeanette Daniel, Judy Sumner, John Tass, Professor Ming Shichang Wang. Staff of the Association. Chief Executive Officer, Michelle Sharkey, OAM. Stroke Project Officer, Maria Nguyen. Community Liaison Officer, Lani Katuli. Financial Manager, Cheryl Smith. Office and Communications Manager, Rachel Field. And Administrative Officer, Carolyn Armstrong. Thank you for listening to this edition of Stroke Recovery News by the Stroke Recovery Association.